Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is 7impacts. It is the 23rd of March in 2022. It is a Sunday. It's the last week of March, and it is windy, as you can see. It is windy somewhere all the time. Maybe at your place too. What happened in 7 regions of the world, you might ask yourself? You're having a bit of free time. Let's check it out. Let's see what happened in Japan. Here in Japan, well, not here, but over there in Japan, they have the same problems as we do. They also talk about the increased egg prices. The egg prices have increased over the last 2 years for about 25%. So if you're an American and you think it only happens to you and to some of us Europeans, no, that's not the case. It happens far, far away up there in the east too. So 25%. I googled how much it is, and you guess how much 10 eggs are in Japan. You want to have a guess? Well, guess again, because it's way cheaper than you expected. It is $2 right now. So it's $2 for 10 eggs in Japan, and they're freaking out. Don't understand it. They want to be tough again in the UK. They want to send their asylum seekers, so those boat refugees who went from France to England, they want to send them not back home, because they can't. So they're thinking about sending them to the Balkan areas. So they haven't mentioned a certain country, but if you watch the news sometimes, you realize that the Italians have done it already. So they sent some Bangladeshi to Albania into one of their own built prison in Albania, and the Kurds dismissed it. So it didn't work out for the Italians, and last year the UK tried to send them back to Africa, which didn't work out either. So now they're coming up with a new plan, which is a couple of countries in the Balkan areas. And I don't want to be too negative, because I'm not, but I think we all know whether it works out or not. And I guess it won't, but that's been on the news in the UK, playing the tough guys right now on Sunday. In China, the South China Post reported that the Taiwanese youth wouldn't go to war in case the Chinese just come across the channel and would attack Taiwan. Then most of them, about 80%, that's what the Chinese Morning Post reported, wouldn't fight back. So I lived there. I lived there for a year. I lived in Taichung. And I would agree. I don't think they are trained and aggressive. They are, you know that they're democratic. They all live basically on the west coast. So you're a pretty easy target for a Chinese army to invade. So basically you have no chance anyways with your, what is it, 20, no, is it 40? No, it's, I think 25 million people live in Taiwan. They all live on the west coast. The east coast is pretty empty. And you listen or you read about it quite often now within the Chinese media, what's happening in Taiwan and how they think politically. And it's not only propaganda what we get in the West about Chinese trying to get that country back, which is obviously their country in their belief. But the Taiwanese are democratic, and they actually like to be independent. But I agree with the Chinese Post. There is no fighting back coming from the Taiwanese people because they're too nice. Yes, they are. Not much happened in Australia, so I've got not much to tell you if you're an Australian and you wanna hear something. This here is a wombat baby. It used to be a wombat baby. I took it from her mother. I killed it. I strangled it. I scalped it, and I put it here on this beautiful microphone, and it prevents the wind from blowing into the microphone, and it works very well. That's just a joke. You know what I'm talking about. She is still in your country. She has not been deported. And I want to talk about one thing what happened in Auckland, New Zealand, which is not too far away from Australia. So I thought about it, give it a chance, talk about the Mount Eden region, where I lived for about 3 years, which is a beautiful place. It is a wealthy place, a lot of nice homes worth about 5 to 10 millions. So the real estate is quite good, it's safe, it's clean. The Mount Eden is a volcano, which is not too dangerous anymore. But what happened yesterday? Well, what happens everywhere in the world? A gang fight, a group fighting was going on, and they tend to use the knife way more often now these days than in the previous years. Because when I lived there, nothing happened at all. It was just a beautiful time there, and I had a lot of fun, always walking around, and no stabbings at all. So one guy got hospitalized. They're still looking for a couple of group members, and well, it happens everywhere, and it's coming to you, New Zealand too. I'm sorry about that. No news from Germany. A bit of complaining, a bit of political talk as always, but what is German doing on a Sunday? So Germans like to sleep in. Then they have a nice lunch, which is pretty heavy. So, you know, potatoes and some nice meat. Then they go for a walk. That's what Germans love to do on Sundays. You know, after lunch they go for an 1 to 2 hour walk through the park. And once they are home, they like to visit their grandparents on Sundays, if they still have some. And they eat cake and drink coffee. That's what they do for another 2 hours. Now we are on about 3 to 4:30 p.m. And that's their Sunday. And during the nighttime, they watch political shows from 6 to 7, and watch a crime series. You know, those investigative CSI stuff. It's pretty common, pretty big. You know, the Tatort. It's like the Scandinavian police movies, crime shows for 1.5 hours, and then they go to bed about 10, and that's their Sunday. That's basically what a typical German is doing. I'm just telling you that because, as I said, nothing happened within the last 2 days. But in case you want to know a bit about the culture, on Sunday, this is only on Sunday, of the Germans, then Here we go. You learned something. We all heard about the D.O.G.E project in the US, which is basically stop the funding of international NGOs and domestic ones too. But it does have an effect on certain, here in this case, media outlets. Here in Russia, you have the Radio Liberty, which got funded by the US for almost 70 years. So they've been introduced within the Soviet Union public. It's an US financed media outlet which informs the public in Russia and ex-former Soviet Union member states. It used to be located in Prague, and now after the Iron Curtain fell, it's located in Moscow. So the D.O.G.E project includes, I have to look it up now, canceling funding the Agency of Global Media, which is an American funding organizations, and those guys will give some money to Radio Liberty. So what kind of effect does it have? Long term, short term? I don't know, but it will have an effect. It will outline again that the Russian media will become less independent. They will probably say it's a propaganda radio station anyways, we don't need that. So they would welcome it. And all I'm saying is the D.O.G.E project is a pretty big reform, and I like it, but you shouldn't cancel everything. You can decrease your investments, you can cut, but you shouldn't stop everything. So let's see what's happening there. I will follow what happens to the radio station and this news outlet, which is an American one, for informing Russian people about the West. I think you should keep that. Elon Musk threatens to sue Jamal Bowman, who calls him regularly a Nazi, you know, as always, and who's a Democrat. I don't know what Elon can do to win their hearts. It's a weird phrase, isn't it? Win their hearts back. I don't think he can. When you read about his life and a couple of books, where he came from, what he has accomplished, and what kind of people he worked with, you really have to be dumb, mean, or just political evil to call him a Nazi. But what's the solution? We have a 50-50 split now. So an EV is not as cool as it was 3-4 years ago. If you drive a Tesla, you are also probably a racist. And how can you change that? Doesn't matter what he is doing. You burn his cars. He's still rich. You just threaten other people you don't even know, just because you portray his face on a Tesla. And that's why you're walking around burning stuff which you can't afford anyways, ever. So the solution, I think, could be get a nose piercing, Elon, wear a wig, and talk in a very high pitched voice for a month, then become gay and do this for another 2-3 months, and the stocks will be fine again. That's my solution. I have no other, and haven't heard anything else what could make sense to get them back. So do it. Nose ring, wig, and I'm not doing the voice because I don't want to sound like that. But you should, you can, you're rich, and pretend to be gay. Just do it, Elon. See that? Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that a nice way to spend your time on a Sunday when you don't have to work? I want to say thank you. Thanks for watching. I promise the channel will be getting bigger. I promise I will do it every 2 days. And I think the accent, the way how I talk will be better too. The performance will be high class in a couple of weeks or months or maybe years. We don't know. I keep trying. I wish you a great Sunday night. Get a nice start on Monday. You might have to work. And I will see you on Wednesday again with more stuff from all over the world. Goodbye. Good night.